Hello, my name is Philip. I'm one of the Text Help Group Product Specialists, and today I'm going to talk about global tasks. Global tasks let students see the big picture, hide the noise, and keep the focus on high priority tasks. So let's have a look at global tasks. Global Tasks itself is a web-based program, so it's available on any device. You can also download the app for your mobile phone or tablet, so you can sync your tasks and to-do lists across your devices. Global Task itself is based on Google technology, so you've got really good security and stability. I've set my global tasks up here in the typical fashion I would set it up for a student. So I've got repetition or life skills, I've got home life, current uni work, and I've got the academic year on the right hand side, and I've got a few tutorials sort of hiding off screen here. If you're on the mouse and keyboard and press the shift and wheel, you can scroll left and right. Likewise, if you press the control and wheel, you can zoom in and out. We do have a plus and minus at the toolbar at the top, so you can zoom in and out here as well. Touchpads and trackpads, it's similar movements as you would expect. In the top left-hand corner, we've got the overview, which is giving us this sort of home screen. We've got due dates, and we've got a to-do list, which is our top priorities. And you can see 3, 5, and everything else. I'll come back to those in a moment. So I'm just going to go to the overview. And I'm just going to run through a couple of examples. So I've got repetition skills here. And I've got phone mum and dad. So if I click on phone mum and dad, this tells me it's a life skill. It's something that I need to do weekly because I've set it to repeat weekly. And if I look on my calendar here, on my due date, it's telling me every Friday. So every Friday going forward on a weekly basis at 8 o'clock, a reminder is going to be set to phone mum and dad. You'll also notice underneath, I've actually put a description, ask how they are, ask how their day went or their week. The simple reason is some people do struggle with communication. I've also set get lunch. So I've set a reminder, and I've set this as daily at 12 o'clock. So every day I get a reminder to have a break. So you could set this to give you reminders to get up and move away from the computer, get a drink, which I've also done here as well. So get a drink. I wonder what drink I've set for myself. Cup of tea or cup of coffee. Oh, get a cup of tea. There you are. So at 10 o'clock every morning, I'm getting a reminder to get myself a cup of tea. And I can set those reminders throughout the day as well. Home life, as you probably know, I've got Big Bob's Cooking Club that I attend once a week. So I'm going to click on Big Bob's Cooking Club. So that's weekly. And I got to set myself a reminder for 7 o'clock here. Now, I normally set this reminder on my mobile phone. So I'm going to click on notifications at the bottom here. And I got set notifications in relation to the due date, which I've already set in the previous task. And I've got it an hour before. So because it's set at 7 o'clock, at 6 o'clock, an hour before, I will get a reminder to my mobile phone to remind me to go to Big Bob's Cooking Club and probably take the fee as well. I've also got Walk the Dogs here. And I've done this over a 3-hour stage. I've got Lola and Smudgy. They're going to get walked first. So if I click on Lola and Smudgy, it's a daily event, so every day. At 9 o'clock, so when I finish work, I'll get a reminder to walk the 2 dogs. Trust me, I don't need a reminder. If I look at the next 2, Gizmo and Xena, this is at 10 o'clock. And then I get a reminder for the 3 little ones at 11 o'clock. So it's giving you a staged reminder over the period of the day. And it's daily. And as you can see, if we do repeating tasks, we've got never, daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. So typically it's daily and weekly that we tend to see most of. To create a task or a project lane, in the top right hand corner, you simply click on Add Item. Enter a name. So this could be, let's say, repetition. I've got repetition skills here. I've got academic year. So this could just be something. I'm putting something in. And you've got a choice of a task or a project. And I'm going to click on project because it will be a new project lane. And I can actually allocate, if I wanted to existing projects, which I've already got across the screen here, or I can create a new one by just simply leaving it blank. If I have an overall hand-in date for my project, I can actually allocate a date for the project and set a time as well with a description. I'm just going to cancel that one because I don't want to sort of change. I'm going to show you now how to create a task. So we can create a project with the button, and we use the Add Item button to create tasks as well. So I'm going to look at my academic year. And let's say I've got an assignment due in February 23. Notice I've got the academic year spread over 2022 and 23, and I've color coded it accordingly. So I'm going to click on February, and that helps me focus purely on February. And I've got an assignment that I've realized that's going to come up. So I'm going to add an assignment into February. So I'm just going to click on add. It knows I'm in February because I've already clicked it. And I'm going to call this English. It could be a TMA or something along those lines that we have at uni. I'm going to pick a hand-in date. So it's going to be easily, it's going to be February, it's going to be March, normally 6 weeks from the date of hand-in. So I'm just going to set it for the end of March. I'm just going to set it as an arbitrary date at the moment. I'm not going to repeat it because I haven't got there yet. So I'm just going to save it. So if I go back to my big picture, my overview, you'll see now in February, I have an English test or assignment coming up in February. So I can see that coming later on. And you'll see why, because it will appear on the due dates and due lists later on. Let's focus on the here and now. We're in November. And as you can see, I've got a science paper to do and I've got a lab paper to do. And I've created these by sort of creating a project lane and then creating tasks within those projects. It's dead easy because I've created current work. Current work is what I'm doing now. So I've got a maths at the moment. I've been very, very busy, but I can grab hold of my science paper using these 9 little boxes on the right-hand side. So I can grab my science paper and I can move my science paper over to my current work. So my current work is what I'm actually doing now. And I want to turn my science paper now into a task, because instead of it being a sitting in the academic year, this is something I want to do now. So I'm actually going to save it, set it as a project, I should say. So it's in my current work, and I give it a description, test, something like that. Save. And now, because it's sat here as a folder, you'll notice it's turned into a folder now. A task doesn't have a folder. I can click on science paper and I can start adding now aspects of my work. So I'm going to click on add item. It's going to be, I'm going to call that introduction. In my science paper, and I'm going to pick a due date. So I want to do my introduction first. So I'm going to start that probably next Monday, the 5th of December. I'm going to set it for 9 o'clock in the morning. So it'll give me a reminder at 8 o'clock if I set this on my phone, like an hour before. So I'm going to set that to the due date. So this is the start date that I want for my introduction. So this is going to give me, I know it says due date on here, but it's going to give me a reminder based on that. So that's when I want my introduction. Because the science paper itself, if I click on the science paper itself, I can edit that. And the science paper would have an overall hand-in date of probably January, when we come back after Christmas, let's say. So Monday the 9th in this case. So let's say 12 o'clock. It's normally about midday. Assignments have to be set. So what I have done here is the project, current uni work, the science paper within it. So the science paper itself has a due date. So the whole paper has a date. So save that. Then introduction has a due date by itself. So this is basically going to set me a reminder. So if I go to notifications, set a reminder, so an hour before, it's now going to ping on my phone, because I'll download the app and sign in. So an hour before that due date, it's going to remind me introduction. So I know then I've got to write that. And I can actually repeat that. So if I'm going to save that now, I can repeat that daily. So basically now it annoys me until I complete that task. And I can complete that task by clicking the complete option here. So I can then add my main body, I can then add my conclusion, and I can then set a week apart so I can stagger my science paper over the week. And I go back to the main body or the overview, and I'll just work through that, and we can see we've got completed. We've got hidden as well, and if I have completed it, I can tick it, disappears. If I've done it by accident, I can click on completed and then untick it again here in the bottom corner. Hidden is a great feature because let's say I need to do my science paper first, but not my maths. I can hide the entire maths TMA until the end of December. So let's say Friday the 30th. And I can hide all of that. Now, come the end of December, Global Task will then put that back on the screen for me. So I don't get that overwhelm. I don't get, oh my God, I've got all this work to do. It helps me focus on the priority. Then I look at due dates at the top here. And you can see I've got a main body due, but I can filter this as well. So due dates typically I set for university stuff. So it's current work. So I untick all these other project lanes that I've created. And I'm just focusing now on the due dates of my assignments because that's what I find is most important. As you can see, tomorrow I've got nothing. Next week I've got nothing. In 2 weeks' time, I've got a conclusion to write for my maths paper, and I've got to start my science paper in about 2 weeks. And today I've got to write a main body for an older TMA. If I look at to-do list, there again, I'd filter it. I would take out current work. I'd leave my repetition on, my home life, how to use, I would take off my academic, I'd take off. So basically I'm leaving the things, my to-do list, my stuff I'm doing around at home on the list here. So I got the walk the dogs, next priority look, get lunch. Oh, that's tomorrow. Get lunch in the morning, walk the dogs again, go to Big Bob's Cooking Club on Thursday. Oh yes, I forgot that. And I need to get a drink. So I've got these good things coming up. The good thing with Global Tasks, in the top right hand corner, we can also import mind maps from MindView as well. Do watch the videos on that, really, really helpful. We also have light mode and dark mode themes as well if you want to use overlays. That's a quick overview of Global Tasks. Thank you for watching.